Hey everyone, it's Bob with Cinephellas. Today I interviewed Michael John Warren. You may know his work from Shrek the Musical, Oh Hello with John Mulaney, Nick Kroll, Nicki Minaj, Drake, all of these different documentaries, and even Rent film blog. But I actually got to talk to him about his newest film, Freediver. It's about a guy chasing his mother's world record for freediving, which is absolutely terrifying. We talk about the film, about chasing a dream and trying to put yourself past boundaries. Have a listen. I hope you like it. I got to tell you how much I'm a fan of Oh Hello on Broadway. So the fact that I get to speak to you right now is really good. That has been a guilty pleasure of mine for way too long.
You'd be surprised how much I get. Maybe you wouldn't be surprised how much I get compliments on that one. That was a really fun project to do. Nick and John, of course, are incredible people. I was really happy to get to collaborate with them on that.
That it's a beautiful special, but we're not here to talk about that. Um, I got to watch Freediver. I got to say, I'm terrified of deep water.
Yeah.
So this entire movie, I'm holding my breath while they're going underwater as well and everything like that. How did you come across this? Other than the GQ article, what else intrigued you about this sport, let alone this exact story?
It sounded really hard to make. And I'm in a part of my career where I'm just looking for challenges, to be candid. And it also sounded like an incredible adventure to put on screen, but also to experience myself. But it was really, there was a couple things that I found super fascinating. There was parts about the human body and physiology that I didn't understand until I started studying freediving. I think that there are probably doctors in the world who don't even understand what Alexey Molchanov understands about the human body. And so that just sort of feel impossible. Some of the things that you know, and some of the things this film shows you, you're like, that's not real. It's real. It's actually happening. That's how it works. So that was an exciting moment to get to tell a story that I think people could not even believe was real. But I also thought the character of Alexei was very compelling. I'm always looking for messy characters, and Alexei is actually not messy. He's really, really methodical with his approach. But it's the story about the greatest living freediver in the world who's sort of stuck in the shadow of this deeply revered mother of his who kind of put freediving on the map. And how do you sort of honor her legacy, but also kind of try to do better than she ever did sports wise? And that felt really complicated. And it's also this kind of crazy story about a guy who is incredibly driven and has opportunities to just keep making history, but he is sort of grappling with how do the decisions I make affect the people who love me? And that's actually what the film is about. That's one of the things that the film is about. And so when I saw all those pieces come together in my mind, I was like, this is going to be exciting. Let's go.
Now, you had mentioned that he's very methodical and everything like that. And while I'm watching, when he was talking, you could see something else behind those eyes. Now,
Yeah.
as someone who was in front of him, I know you're obviously understanding what he was saying and taking that all in, but did you get lost in the little bit of eye movements where it almost felt like he was back here working on something else while just um, kind of responding to things being asked to watch a man actually going through steps in his mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Not lost, but I'm always watching. I'm listening to the answer that's coming at me, and I'm thinking of the next question, and I'm looking at what's actually happening to the person who I'm speaking to. I'm doing all those things when I'm doing an interview. So yes, I was thinking about that. It was a little trickier with Alexa because English isn't his first language. So I'm like, is he looking for the English word for this? Although his English is, you know, better than most Americans, frankly. But there's also that. But he was pretty guarded on some level at the top of the film, and I feel like what you learn what I experienced in the film is him letting down his guard as the film plays on. The Alexei you see at the end of the film is not the Alexei at the top of the film, and he needed to go through all those things that happen in the film to get him to where he is by the end. And so there was definitely a challenge. I was definitely aware of it at the top of the film, but I guess I just had faith that if we kept going and kept earning trust and watching him experience what he was experiencing, we would start to get to the real. And I think we did that with this movie.
And again, watching it, I'm deeply invested in, watching him go down and my fingers crossed and waiting for bated breath to see how well he can do. And hope that everything works. I got to ask you, obviously, you know him on a grander scale than anyone and all of that. How often are you during this whole filming? How often were you holding your breath, watching everything happen, and just kind of sitting there? Like, I could not imagine the amount sitting on me while this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, it was an emotionally really hard film to make. I had to be candid with myself that the person I'm documenting could die today, now, right now. That's not an easy thing to have to face as a documentarian. But at the same time, I knew that Alexei, I don't control Alexei. I'm just documenting his life. So he's making his decisions. He's not crazy. It's not like I was watching someone spiral into this crazy drug-fueled suicidal thing. It's a person who actually knows exactly what he's doing and knows the risks and is taking the chance anyway. So I always knew that sort of morally speaking, I was on solid ground because Alexei knows what he's doing. He knows that he could die. He's not crazy and he's making those decisions. But yes, it was really hard. There's one part in the film where it's probably the most harrowing scene in the film where he announced what he was going to do, and everyone was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! You can't do that," and they can't stop him. And that night I didn't sleep, and then that day happened, and it was pretty bad. And I didn't sleep the next night, and I was rocked by that day. Um, so yeah, it was just that kind of movie where like you start to become close with someone. I mean, Alexei's a charming guy, and there's times where I wanted to grab him, like, don't go, don't do it, stop, just stay here. We won't. The movie's off. Stop. We're not making a movie. Don't do this. But the truth of the matter is whether we were making a movie or not, Alexei was going to do all that. So it was his decision.
See, and that was actually another question I had was usually when anyone is in a job where they deal with people who are going through any kind of massive thing, commonly psychologists, stuff like that, they have to go see a counselor too, because you have to prepare yourself for the person or the subject you're with, what happens worst case scenario. So to hear you actually talking about how you had to take a step back and remind yourself, here or not here, this is happening, so I might as well be there, pretty much, to tell a story, to show how we can overcome such, I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't want to use the word adversity, but like we could use it as a thing of adversity where he's literally going down there to where your body doesn't want to be. And it's very interesting.
Yeah, no, it was, and like I said, I I struggled. I struggled with that exact thing throughout this movie. And every time he went down, yeah, I held my breath, maybe not literally, but there's a good thing that sort of happens as a documentarian in those moments is that there's a lot of technical things to deal with. I'm dealing with boat captains, 3 different camera crews. Like there's a lot of technical. I can just go, okay, I'm going to be my own little Alexei here, and I'm going to make sure we don't screw up the shot because this world record's happening one time and it's not happening again, so don't miss it. So there's a world where I can sort of step into the technical side of directing and remove the humanistic soul part of it all, like what I'm feeling as a person, I can just go in my own robotic mode. And I think there's definitely times where I did that. But there's also times where I'm like, to feel how long he's down. That's what's crazy about the sport is when you're on the surface and he goes down and a lot of time goes by, a lot. It feels like a year and there's like a clock in your mind that starts ticking and ticking and ticking and like alarm bells in your own body start going off like he can't still be down there, but he is. And so the longer he's down there, the more terrifying it is. um and so yeah, me and all my crew were going through that every single time he was going for this stuff.
People go through a big event, a big moment in someone's life, there becomes this huge bond. How fast did that bond just absolutely seal?
He's very approachable, and I would say that he wasn't hard to sort of be friendly with ever, right? He's very in control. He's very polite. He's a very nice guy. But there is a part of Alexei that is sectioned off from the entire world, and who really knows what that part of him is. Um, I think what you see in this film is us getting past that barrier and getting him to that place, not just by trusting me and the conversations we're having, but he goes through a series of events in this film that change him. And so again, like we were part of it because we were there to witness it, but he was just going to kind of go through some of that stuff himself. And maybe along the way, the questions I'm asking him help him think about some of the things that I was wondering about in a way that if I wasn't there to ask those questions, maybe he wouldn't have focused on them as much as he did. So I am influencing him on some level. Um, but the bond is, I talk to, we talk still now. And so the bond is good. It's a hard earned bond. But me and Alexey will remember each other for the rest of our lives.
And so that's a beautiful thing. Like I said, you guys shared this moment and you got to document it. Like you were, yeah, you helped bring something new into the world. That's got to be an amazing feeling to make friends, and all of a sudden you're both this part of this huge thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I live this incredible life. I can't even believe I get to live the life I live. It's hard work. I'm exhausted constantly. It's not easy what I do, but our lives, my life is just endlessly fascinating, and I'm always experiencing new things. It's really stressful. I'm not saying it's easy to do what I do, but I'm very aware of the incredible advantages I have to witness everything. If I'm there, something crazy is happening. Like that's why they put me there. Something crazy is about to happen. Once in a lifetime opportunity. Get Michael there to document it. Like I'm not there unless something big is about to go down. And so me and my crew get to experience the world in this really privileged way. We are ushered wherever we go. We're ushered into the most elite section of we're already there. And so it's really, really fun work. It's not for normal people. It's really, really hard. We are crazy people for doing what we do, but we could write 1,000, I could write 100 books of what I've experienced throughout this career.
Have you ever thought about writing a book about this? A memoir
Yeah, I
almost?
have. I have. I don't know if I'm going to have time, and I haven't taken great notes throughout my career. But yeah, I love writing a lot. And I've started writing some fiction as well. But especially on this film, people always say, "Oh, there should be a movie about making the movie." And I'm always like, "No, this isn't as interesting as you think it is." On this film, definitely. Like the characters on my crew and what we experienced going around the world was totally insane. And there could be a documentary on the making of this documentary, and it would be pretty damn good.
And I mean, obviously, I see how much love you have for this film and how much love you have for your career. It's always harder to think what the next project's going to be because it's in the shadow of this. Is there another project or in that a dream project that you would love to get?
Yeah, always. I have a list. I don't want to talk about it, but yes, I have a list of 5 things that I am dying to do. I'm constantly developing them, trying to convince people to do them with me. It's even for someone who's done as much as I am, just because I want to do it doesn't mean it's going to happen. This work is expensive, right? It costs a lot to make these movies. And I have to convince people with a lot of money to give it to me to let me go make a movie. And I'm pretty sure Steven Spielberg has to go and beg for his budgets too. So yes, there is. I'm already almost complete production on my next project, which should get announced in a month or two. And we're always constantly moving forward, and I'm always trying to build the next thing. It's part of my responsibility. If I don't work on the next thing, then suddenly I'm not making anything, and that's a bad situation. So I'm a professional artist. I have to always be thinking about what's next and trying to set it up. And luckily, I have a lot of people who come to me with something that's half cooked, and they're like, "We want to jump in here. We need someone to make this." But yes, I do have things that I'm very excited to make. I'm trying to make them. I have something I'm making right now that I quite love. And, you'll hear from me again real soon.
I hope so. Like I said, I loved this was fantastic. It had me approaching one of my biggest fears, which is deep water. I'm terrified of but like I said, this was actually kind of cool. Almost look at it in a way of exposure therapy to an extent, like
Yeah,
seeing what's
exactly.
down there. But
Well,
at the
I'm
same
glad.
time, at the same time, being like, oh gosh, there's nothing down there.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we can help with your various traumas.
And did you look at it at all and go, you know what, just dip me down 10 feet. I'll come right back up. I just want to.
Yeah, well, 10 feet's easy. 10 meters is different. 20 meters, you know. Yeah, it's funny. Someone asked me recently, did I free dive during this? And that technically we've all sort of free dove if we like held our breath and went underwater. But they kind of mean like, did you really do it? And the answer is no. And it's not because I was afraid to do it. It's just that directing a film like this is so hard. And as soon as I shoot something, I already have to be on the next thing because that's just how film production goes. There's not a lot of free time. And so I didn't actually free dive on this project, but it was really just because, and Alexey himself was like, "Do you want a lesson?" And I'm like, "Yes, but I just don't have time. I need to constantly push on the next thing." So I absolutely would try it. I wouldn't try to do anything crazy. I'm risk averse. I do not like putting my own life in danger, even though my career is a little bit dangerous, but we're really careful about what we do. And keeping myself and my crew safe is a huge priority for me. But yeah, I think going down 10, 20, 30 feet with a very experienced freediver, I'm pretty confident that would be fine. If something happened, they could get me out of there, no problem.
Sounds good. Well, I'm looking forward. I'm going to keep an ear and eyes open for your next project. Like I said, between this and Oh Hello on Broadway, that again, you got an eye that really captures what people need to see.
Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate the support, Bob.
Well, thank you so much for your time, sir. I hope all the success with this, and I hope you actually get a lot of people looking into this and just thinking like, maybe I could do something big. I find that whenever
Yeah.
you watch someone do something death defying, you start to look at yourself like, you know what, I bet I could, not that,
Yeah.
but maybe I should
Yeah.
take a step out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, fair enough. We all should. It's a big
Absolutely.
world out there, man. It's a big world.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for your time. Good luck with this. And I wish you all the success, and I'll keep an ear out.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Have a good night.
Yeah, take care.
Seriously, I held my breath the entire time. Nerve wracking as hell. With that being said, though, like it's a great documentary. I highly suggest it simply on the fact that, like I said, it's kind of cool to see someone go so far in this world. All in all, I give it a 3.5, almost 4 out of 5. It's a watch. So again, that's Freediver, and it is on Prime Video starting December 7th. Definitely give it a watch. Let us know what you think. You agree with me? You don't agree with me? You think I talk too much about my trauma? But all in all, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.